Obviously delighted to get off to a good start, as we all know. A really tough place to start a campaign. But the good thing about it, in my opinion, is, you know, there's a lot of things that we could have used as an excuse over the last 12 days, but I said to you in Portugal that our preparation has been top draw, and it really has, and I think we got what we deserved at the end of the day. You know, it's a tough place to come, and our history says exactly that, but the way that we galvanised together as a group is testament to how we go about our work in preparation for this test match. Well, it is. I mean, if you to give us a bonus point and win here at the start of the competition, we'd have probably snatched our hand off. But at the same time, the best thing about it is that there's plenty to do and fix and get better with. So it's not a bad place to be.
What feeds most?
I thought our composure in the first half was great. You know, I thought we was pretty clinical as far as taking our chances. Our defence at times was going after them, but you know, it was letting them play the game that they want to play, and they played pretty expansive to be fair to them, offloading the ball, and they looked dynamic and strong. But our scramble defence was outstanding, especially in the first half and on our own line, etc. But funnily enough, the first 20 minutes of the second half wasn't great, and a lot of it was on downfall regarding how we played, our discipline, etc. But how we came out of that showed some good resilience and kept playing right to the end, and should have had one or two more, or could have had one or two more, was pretty pleasing.
What were you, Andy? What were you doing in that kind of third quarter of the game where you did find yourself on the back foot?
Well, we kept giving them access. It's as simple as that, through our own fault, you know, and it's something that we've constantly tried to get better at. And I thought in the first half it was excellent, actually. In fact, towards the last 10 minutes of the first half, there was one or two bits where we allowed them to get out of trouble a little bit, but. Yeah, we always know that international rugby, especially with a side like Wales, and they're a good side. I thought they were good today. I thought they were strong, like, you know. I thought they were aggressive. They punched hard and offered some threats. They're always going to have a purple patch. Purple patch for 20 minutes is something that we need to nip in the bud a little bit quicker. But rolling with that was impressive.
The two injuries he had before the game, Keane and Jamieson, how are they? Do you know the extent of them yet?
We'll find out tomorrow. So we'll see, but again, I think it's the strength of the group, you know, coming through that, and you know, guys like Johnny, there's 3 or 4 of them that's not played any rugby for a long time, 2 or 3 injuries during the week as well, and what happened this morning could have unsettled any side, but there's no excuses for us. We prepare as a group, we prepare as a squad of 37, 38, and we expect ourselves to perform, and that's what we did.
And Johnny, considering those disruptions, how proud are you as captain of the way you started the game, particularly in the first 20 minutes?
Yeah, really happy with how we started. It was everything we'd spoke about during the week in terms of our accuracy, and I thought our discipline, you know what I mean. When they had the ball, we were really good, and then let that slide in the third quarter. We gave them 4 or 5 penalties on the bounce. Like all we spoke about at half time was discipline.
Yeah, it's good coaching, actually.
We just did the opposite.
They all listened very well.
I think we said don't give away any penalties, and all they heard was penalties. So we gave away some silly penalties, but I thought the ref did really well, because that's what you want. You want the ref to be strict. I mean, we had the ball at the start, he was reffing the team without it. When they had the ball, he was reffing us, and we were doing some silly things at the start of the second half. So fair play to him. It's tough to come here and ref, you know, in that crowd, and give the right decisions like he was doing, and so fair play to him.
How did you find it out there, obviously considering you haven't had a lot of game time? I don't think I've ever been as nervous before a game, for lots of reasons, but the main one was because I forgot what it's like to build up to a game. You know, like obviously I had one game on New Year's Day since the South African test, and obviously I got injured. So
from that. But I've trained hard. I've trained, made mistakes in training. But when you want to train well and you make those mistakes, hopefully you get a few less on the Saturday. So yeah, obviously, we came a bit unstuck in the third quarter, so we need to just go and have a look at that and see what we could have done better. But yeah, happy to get through and look forward to next week now.
And having an injury like a cheekbone fracture, is it something that you're cautious of out there?
Yeah, a little bit. I slipped off one or two tackles, trying to go a little bit lower. So I went back to tackling higher in the second half. Yeah, look, it can be in the back of your mind. Like I obviously tested it during the week, doing a bit of contact with Simon Easterby, and it felt good. So I was confident, and I got a good whack on it in the first half. So I tested it out as well. So the doctor was right. It was all good.
Brilliant. And Andy, just those challenges you had coming into the game. How far in advance did you know about Jameson Gibson Hart and Healy?
Advance. Some of you guys knew before us. Murray, you was very quick. You knew before me actually. So I don't know how that's done. So it was mid-morning this morning.
And I'm sorry, Murray. And on that, so that's obviously a tough blow. But do you look at it like a positive that we were able to rise to this challenge that we stepped up here?
We do, and we've always been consistent in that, because it's always been about the group and having no excuses. You can look for plenty if you search for them, but yeah, they should be irrelevant for us if we prepare in the right way as a squad and trust the squad and back the squad and go in and put a performance like that just reiterates those points even more so, I would have thought.
Johnny, what was happening just before you went off? Passing right for Carl Dixon's chat.
Yeah, I was just trying to get to the physio. I had a bit of a dead leg and just wanted to get it strapped up, and then he said that I don't know, he just said that I need to go off for HIA, but I was like, no, I just need to see the physio to get my quad strapped, and then that was the confusion. So I went off, did my HIA. I had to do HIA, and it was all good, obviously. So they're fine.
And that was from the high tackle.
Yeah.
Calf is okay.
I just got a dead leg, just on my knee, but it's not bad.
Andy, can I ask you, just in terms of Conor and Finlay obviously getting their chances, how do you feel those two went?
Delighted for them. I thought they were both outstanding. Conor controlled the game really well, like we knew we would, and I think the game suited Finlay. I think he did excellent in certainly in the bread and butter stuff of the scrum. I think he was aggressive in that regard, and the rest of his game was spot on as well. And so again, I said to you during the week, there's a lot of trust there throughout the squad, and it's nice to see.
What did you think of Stuart McCloskey's performance?
It's good. Yeah, he was strong. He wrote a few tackles. He was being himself, and yeah, he was looking for another opportunity. He knew that this was a big one for him, and played well. I also thought our bench did really well when they came on. Added a lot of punch to us and tempo into our game. So it's nice to get Bundy back going as well.
Johnny, game one, it's always the most difficult, and it kind of unlocks the whole thing for you. How excited are you about what's ahead now in the next 4 games?
Yeah, like it is only a start, but at the same time, if you come away from a bad result today, Triple Crown's gone, Grand Slam's gone, you're obviously still going for a championship, but where we're still in the hunt, you know what I mean? So it's brilliant, and now it's all down to next week. That's the beauty of this competition. There's no easy games. All 5 of our games this year are really tough, and none tougher than next week. The team that hasn't been beaten for a year come in. We haven't beaten them yet, so we're up against it. But I'm sure when we went over to the Stade de France last year, the crowd, probably the best atmosphere I've seen. I'm sure our Irish fans will put on something similar to that.
How much you relish that?
Well, you relish every game you play for Ireland, don't you? It's even if we lost today, you'd be relishing it because it's another test match for Ireland. So it's we need to start at zero again, and we prepared unbelievably well for the last 12 days, And you know, sometimes you go, oh, it's not going to be perfect, and it wasn't perfect over the 80, but at halftime I was going, that was pretty good. So you know, we need to keep building, and you know, we need to sort out that third quarter. You know, we can't let that be the first 20 minutes next week or the second 20 minutes. You know, we need to be more consistent through the whole game.
And you mentioned the bench making an impact. What do you think of Russ when he came on for Johnny and wrestling back and forth in that last quarter?
Well, obviously Ross is the guy that's going to be the eyes for us as far as field position is concerned. But I thought everyone was punching. You know, I thought Craig did pretty well as well. You know, as far as fast ball is concerned, the forwards that came on, Jack Conan and David Kilcoyne, and Rob Herring, etc. They all added, and so did Bundy. Bundy had a couple of poaches, didn't he? You know, which got us back on the front foot as well. And Ross steered us around the field and kept us playing till the death, and it's always important to be able to do that, you know. Too many times we've seen leads where teams have shut up shop, and I thought we kept playing till the end, which is a good point of our game.
Johnny, what was the most important message for you to keep talking in the second half? There's not so much scope of pressure, but you are looking for a bonus point try. It's in your mind. Could you just tell us what you're telling the team generally, because clearly Warren has got something from them at half time.
Yeah, he obviously got a reaction at half time, but also we didn't help ourselves. We gave away 5 penalties on the bounce, like when just no need. All of them, you know, it wasn't like, you know, an unlucky penalty or anything. They were clear penalties, and it's not good enough. That gave them access and gave them, you know, suddenly you go from a pretty comfortable lead to, you know, well, if they score again here, we're in trouble. The stadium would have gone mental. But we held out. We made a few errors then when we were trying to get out of our half. But all the messages were we need to just win the next moment, and that's where we've come a long way in the last 3 years. Is sort of not getting. You know, Test match rugby is difficult. It's going to be the team's going to have a purple patch, and it's just how you react to it and how you get over it. And the lads did really well to bounce back and get that all-important fourth try.
Can I ask you on a scale of 1 to 10? We know about angry Johnny and calm Johnny and middle Johnny. But was there a point where you felt where you need to be a little bit crack the whip at any point?
No, I don't think so. I think, like I said, it was pretty easy fix-ups. You know, it was stop giving away stupid penalties and do your job. And when we did that, we looked good again. There's a couple of calls that, again, when we got back into their half, we messed up a couple of plays in the backs where we have to have a look at that and make sure that we don't let it happen again. So important that you learn lessons in victory as well as defeat.
So that's a 5, Derek. 5.
We'll take the last couple, guys.
Level. Oh yeah. Medium.
Andy, you've spoken quite a lot over the last few months about how much you like embrace the adversity and you want a bit of disruption to see how your players react. But when you do lose 2 players in the morning of the game, are you wondering what sort of luck you've brought on yourself?
No, because we've got full faith in. I mean, you know, when you've got Connor to step in, you've got Craig. You know, there's a tough decision in the first place whether Craig's playing or not. You know, so we're in pretty good shape. And when Keane comes off and David Kilcoyne's been training like he has, you know, we're in pretty good shape. And not just that, we've got good guys that are backing up with those guys as well. So it's great. The coach was going a little bit slow to the game. And I thought this is going to be great if we're 15 minutes late. That will really test us, but we got there about 3 minutes late, so we weren't too bad in the end.
Happy enough? Okay, we'll wrap it up there.
Thank you.
Cheers.